What's up?
How are you?
Good. I was remembering, and I always do my best thinking when I'm shaving my legs, walking in Capri and walking right past you, and my husband noticing you before me and going, "Are you going to say anything?" I'm like, "No, she's on vacation. Like, I'm not going to fucking bug her." But he got so excited because he knew who you were right away.
That's so funny. But wait, didn't you say something?
I think I DM'd you, and I was like, because
I was like, it sounds familiar.
I followed you, and like you were doing something. You posted something. I go, I just walked by you.
Oh, that's so funny. I vaguely remember. I was like, wait, did I see them though?
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to kind of meet you. I feel like I know you because we share a publicist, which I didn't know until recently, but I still felt like I know you before. But now I've read a bit about you, and I feel like I've been through a fair amount in my life personally, and I was really moved by your story. No, you've been through a lot of traumatic stuff, like you really have, and so there's a lot to discuss. And I don't think you've had so many different lives. So you got into sports. You intentionally went into sports. That's what you wanted to do. So why were you so passionate about diving into sports as a woman, and where did that come from in your childhood, et cetera?
I think it's just daddy stuff, right? My mom was a school teacher. She's retired now, elementary school teacher during the day. So my dad had me before he went and did the 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock newscast. And they kind of traded us off. My dad took care of us during the day. And then when my mom came home, he went. And that was kind of his time. Like he told us all about teams. He told me all about, the storylines. He's a investigative reporter, so he's really good with storytelling. And he would make these guys and these coaches and these organizations sound like my friends. And kind of like I thought of you, on the New York Housewives. I was like, she's my best friend. I just saw her in Capri, So when I started to meet them, and kind of like how I, would talk to you over Instagram, even though, I'm not saying this in a bad way, I'd be like, "Oh my God, I love you," or "Great outfit," or
Right.
You'd think that they were your good friends. So I would start to meet these people in real life and tell them my stories about growing up and learning about them. And they'd be like, "Okay." I'm like, "No, but this was my life with you." So yeah, that's because of my dad. He was such a great storyteller. And it was my favorite thing to learn about.
And how many other women were your peers in that space? Were there other women coming up?
Yeah, in NFL there were a ton. In NBA there were a ton. But now there's a lot more than there are at that time, right? Or than there were, I guess.
And are you friends with a lot of the other women in this space?
It's pretty, I am friends. My best friend who I do a podcast with, Carissa Thompson, we're very tight. I am friends with other women. The ones that I grew up admiring, I am friends with. But it's a competitive industry. It really is for the females, which is sad. At Fox, we have a really great group. The girls are awesome, and we all get together once a year, and we, kind of all tell stories and talk about things and everything like that. But yeah, it's cutthroat. It is.
Wow. Well, so is brought news for women. Like that's one of the.
It is.
Yeah. My God. Especially like sort of the hybrid entertainment morning talk show news. Like I know all of the women, and it's shocking, the stories. Like remember when they had that movie or that documentary about late night wars? Like there's a female morning war that no one really talks about. It's fascinating.
Now, I'm not going to interview you, but I am going to ask you, do you know if it's inter-network? Are we fighting in network too? Because
it's inner and it's inner, it's external. Of course, yes, both. It's complete Hunger Games all across every aspect of it. Yeah. It's just like every woman for themselves.
Let's hope she falls during the weekend so I can do the hurricane.
Exactly. Like kind of, or why? Well, there's a lot of housewife stuff. Why is this person getting this and I'm not getting this, etc. So it's very interesting. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, to be honest. It's tough, and there aren't that many seats, so you're gonna have to kill somebody to get a seat. And that's the way it is. It's not show friends, it's show business. So there it is.
Listen, when I had my cervix cut out and I was wearing, I've been very open about this, and there's nothing like an 18-hour protection pad with wings on the sidelines as you're covering Green Bay, Dallas, and you're wearing these form-fitted jeans, but a long coat to hide it all. There was no way in hell. And my doctor didn't know a thing about football. And he was like, so you're going to stay off your feet for a week and a half. And I was like, no, I'm actually on a plane tomorrow. Am I going to die of, whatever, like a blood clot or something? And he's like, I wouldn't be on your feet. And I was like, no, I have to be on my feet. And so I did. And
one of those bitches will take my spot. Like, you
can't.
Tom Brady. And who's the guy who was it? Drew Bledsoe. Who's the guy?
Drew Bledsoe. Good. Yeah. You're a Patriots fan. Yeah.
Is that crazy? So I can't believe I knew that. It's only because Paul, my fiance, his father's best friends with Robert Kraft for 30 years. And so I don't know why I know that story.
Terrific, by the way. I mean, I'm sure your fiance does, but Mr. Kraft, have you ever
smells terrific?
What are you wearing?
Stop. What did he say? What was he wearing?
God, what was he wearing? No, I was going to make a joke. Jakar. No, I'm kidding. What was he wearing? I'm going to look it up.
You'll think about it. It'll come up. That's hilarious.
Bulgari.
What?
Wait, how do you say it? Is it Bulgari? How do you say it?
Oh, Bulgari.
Yeah.
But Bulgari. Sure. It could be either. Yeah.
Tomato.
Yeah, tomato. Capri. Where we saw each other, where you saw me.
Exactly.
All right. So you have this career in sports that's consistent. It's successful.
Sure. Yeah.
To me, the first time I knew of you was your scandal, your People scandal, because I was seeing it every day in the news, and then you got this big settlement, and can we just discuss that? Like the taboo of it's not actually that. It's not. You talked about Pamela Anderson and how the sex tape with her and Tommy Lee got out, and how you kind of watched her film and you were bawling, and you identify with that. So I can't say it's your Kim Kardashian moment, because it's kind of well known that was a produced, put out there film, and yours was a People, and it wasn't. But what do you think about that? Well,
first of all, I think if that had happened now, it would have been received much differently. That was before Me Too. That was before, shaming. That was before any of the bullying. That was before all of that. And the day that broke and was purchased or put by a website that Hulk Hogan coincidentally ended up suing and getting a lot of money for what happened to him.
Oh, I remember with that Larry, that lawyer.
It was was the soccer site. So they're the same ones that did it to me. So what happened was he tried selling it, first of all, to TMZ, which is really an unbelievable story. Harvey Levin saw it right away and was like, we don't get into the business of this. Thank you, Harvey Levin. More on that after the break. So then what he did was he put it up on a site that was in Europe. We had no jurisdiction on it. We couldn't get it down, which is fucked. So then from there...
because there is no Europe. The internet is the internet. What's Europe?
You're right. I shouldn't even say Europe. It's just...
You know what I mean? What's Europe?
Jurisdiction. And this also before Bethenny was before, because the guys on I love them, my FBI team went on to work with this as well. When all the photos of the actresses started leaking out, I forgot who that was or who did that.
People nude, like in their vacations and stuff, right?
Their phones were being hacked and all that stuff.
Yes.
That was all of this. So I was kind of the first one. So then this website that was kind of tracking my career and every little thing I do. Hey, she's eating a Cuban sandwich for a Miami game. It looks phallic. Let's put it up. Shit like that. They're the ones that decided one day, let's put it up. And they shouldn't have. It's a felony. You cannot do that. And so anyways, they put it up. My life blows up. I start getting calls. I have a meltdown. I never in a million years thought I had a stalker, all the things.
Well, let's go through it. Let's go. So first of all, you don't even know what this is. This has never happened before. You haven't really heard of this. I mean, there can be no invalidation of like oh my God, you're just violated and exposed and like embarrassed. And I mean, what was that part like?
Oh, it was awful. I mean, I'm not someone that would ever, and there's nothing wrong with people that do that and want to be photographed, but that is the complete opposite of me. I am very like, meh, I'm good. I, have stretch marks. I'm fine. I don't need it out there. So that was the complete opposite. I found my point. Because this was before Me Too, bullying, shaming, all the things. This was put on the front pages of everything, My Naked Body. I mean, and it said scandal. And it was anything but a scandal.
A violation. Right.
Violation. It was a crime. But it was looked at as, I did this to further my career.
Wow.
And it was fucked up. And it was damaging. And it has caused a lot of PTSD, a lot of which I should still go to therapy for. And I promise I will. But I just, for so long, I already had a chip on my shoulder, right? I was a female in the industry. I was trying to belong. I didn't play. But listen, I wanted to dress nice, have hair extensions, not wear oversized shit, like workout.
You're trying to ride the line, not being too hot, but not like, you were trying to be, you are attractive. So it's okay to be attractive in sports.
But I wanted to change things a little bit in my own way. You can care about the way you look, do your nails, do your hair, dye your hair, and still know the X's and O's with the guys. It's okay. Right. You don't have to be ashamed of that. Now I was dealing with a whole new layer in terms of, here's my body. People think I did this to get an edge, to get ahead. And it was the exact opposite. And the worst part of it is that we had to stay quiet. Well, first of all, we had to convince authorities that this wasn't a scandal, that this really happened to me. I was brought down to California. I was living in Atlanta at the time. I was brought down to California. And also because this happened in so many places. And also because because the laws weren't keeping up with how fast the internet was growing. There were no laws for this.
I get it. What do you mean? That's what's going on in reality TV right now. I fully get it. You couldn't believe that it was mayhem and then it happened to you. Mm-hmm. But what I'm struck by is that the very thing you were fighting in sports, that industry, was all washed away in a day. Like, you just did all this work to be this credible person that has the knowledge to then be like objectified without your choice. And it's also striking me that even when I say it made you more well-known, etc., but it only made you more well-known because you fought it. Like, you took it to the next level. You could have just been... an anecdote of it happened to you, and you just let it go. But you kind of really fought it. So you getting the settlement and you fighting for your rights is kind of probably way more why it made you so much bigger.
Yeah, I think it actually, I mean, I had been kind of I had a male audience, right? I had a male following. And then, I get brought up and I get put on this jury, on this stand in court, and people hadn't seen me cry. I'm breaking out in a massive heat rash because I have massive anxiety. My parents are falling apart in court. They are showing the jury the video, and I am beyond mortified. I mean, my dad is like covering up windows and making sure, like, because my dad worked in the industry, making sure television cameras were unplugged because the case was being put on live and on television. My dad didn't want it back out. I went through, and I don't know how you are. I was talking to Brooke Shields about this. When things are traumatic in my life, I go through a really glazed over period where I'm there, but I'm not there. And I'm so lucky I've had amazing lawyers, my parents, to kind of deal, because I kind of go out of body and I'm like, I'm here, but I'm not here. Mm-hmm. I didn't really pay attention to all the fact finding in the court, in my case. I knew that the hotel let him in. I knew that they fucking lied about letting him in, all the things. And, my lawyer, came out and proved it and was amazing about it. But when you sit there and you listen to the closing remarks, I sat next to one of my lawyers, and obviously the other one was doing it. And he was he was just awesome. He was just going and going and going and blow by blow of all the evidence that they had and what this did to me and how unsafe this hotel was. And I started to feel like I was going to pass out. And I said to my lawyer, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to pass out. And he's like,
it was too much information.
It was too much. And I'd been glazed over, and he's like, you can't pass out. You can't pass out. So I just sat there and I I started going through jersey numbers of players. I was like 3, Russell Wilson, 4, Brett Favre, 5, Trey. Like I just it was my only way. But it was amazing. And that was the moment, I think, when women started seeing like all the shit I had been through, and even how the other side was saying her career got better. She got better because of it. She made more money. She got more exposure. It's like, dude, come on. I will live with this PTSD are you insane?
Yes. Yes. But part of me is like, good. You're more successful. You fought, because I've fought for things that are really hard to fight for. And I get that. Yeah. Like, you know, good for you. Like, meaning not good for you that it happened to you. Right. It's horrific. But I watched, and I obviously didn't know the day that it happened to you. It wasn't on my radar, but I watched as a woman. And you're right. The reason you're on my radar is because I was like, wow. And I only thought of it as a violation. I didn't think about any of that other stuff. But I just know it was the first time I knew of you. So there's something that needs to be, discussed when you discuss that kind of thing, because it's reality and it doesn't make it any better. I've been known for a disgusting divorce. Doesn't mean that that's positive, even if you win the argument. Yeah.
I felt so bad for you, by the way. I loved you. No. I supported you through the whole thing.
Well, let me ask you a question. From inception, from the moment that happened to you to it being completed, how long was that period?
From, the court case?
No, here's the day this happened to me, my life is over, to the court case is finalized. Like, I'm free and I fought for something and I won.
It was probably 2009 that happened to me. We didn't go to court till 16. Yeah, it was.
That's what people don't realize. So that's what people don't realize. Yeah. So not until 16 did you feel free. So 7 years of your life was torment, and then 16. Because I get that. That's what people don't get. They think, oh, this happened to her. She's famous. Here we go. It was yeah, exactly. So that's what 7 years of your life. Yeah, it's brutal. And then so you were not married at that time? You got married after?
No, we were dating, and that was always something when I was getting ready to date a guy. Oh yeah, there's this video of me on the internet. This is what happened. Oh, he's in jail. Just a heads up if you see this guy.
Right.
So we were dating. We were and then I swear to God, like 5 months later, I got diagnosed with cervical cancer. My dad got diagnosed with prostate right after too.
After the trial?
No, my dad, after trial, I got cervical. My dad, right after my incident, a couple months after my incident came out, stalker video came out, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And people don't think like this from stress on your body.
I was just going to say.
Wild. Yep.
You think, and are there studies, or you just, no one can.
Oh my God. I think there's so many. I mean, let me put my
saying that's stress
related brings it out, right? Brings it out of you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. It was kind of like 2017. I was diagnosed 3 weeks into the football season. It was like a new year. I was so excited. We had this Super Bowl court case behind me. Like, here we go. Yeah. And it was just like, holy crap. Seriously? Yeah.
And so what is cervical cancer? What is the process? What is the road to recovery? What is that journey?
So with cervical cancer, and not to get, on my high horse, you shouldn't be dying of it, because women should go and get checked. And that was the one thing that was so crazy about being so vocal about it. So many women don't go to the doctor for a yearly exam, for their annual, right? That's why it's called an annual. And I've always been really good about it. My mom, right before school, was already like, let's go to the dentist. So you're going to get your physical. Now it's like gyno, hair extension, like all that crap you do before the season starts. So I was always really good about getting my annual. And that's why when I got it, and I got a call on a Saturday of all places, as I'm getting ready to do Giants Eagles, my gyno was like, this is a really bad test. Like, you have these cancer cells all over. We have to do a hysterectomy now. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And that's where I was really wrong with all of it, is that I jumped into things, and I jumped into a really aggressive surgery. I should have gotten a second opinion. That's my one thing I'll say about healthcare. If people are dealing with stuff, if you can get a second opinion, please do it. But with cervical cancer, you should just, you shouldn't die of it. People are, which is wild. You need to go to the doctor every single year and get checked out. And then because
you're saying go to your regular doctor and your gyno.
Yeah.
You're saying do your annual.
Yep. And all it was, an exam, and she saw cancer cells, but she was so worried because there was a good amount of it that she felt like in order to save, she wasn't even talking about that. She was saying, let's get a hysterectomy, which I shouldn't have even thought of. So I went and I had a very aggressive surgery. I should have gone to an oncologist. She took out way too much, but unfortunately in other areas, the cancer went past the margin. So I had to get 2 surgeries all during the football season.
That sounds traumatic.
It was awful.
That sounds traumatic coming off of what you came off of. And you still weren't married at that time?
We weren't married. I had been freezing my eggs just because I didn't know when we were thinking about getting married or having kids. And I knew that if we couldn't clear up, what I had through basically removing my cervix, that the next step was going to be a hysterectomy. So it was a lot to swallow for a guy who we weren't even engaged.
I was going there.
Oncologist with his girlfriend, and they're like, you may want to start talking about having kids. I'm like, we don't even have, we're not even talking about getting married. It was a lot. Yeah.
How long had you been together at that point?
We had been together probably 6 years. So we knew we were going to get married. We just were coasting.
But you were younger. He was an amazing support, it sounds like. He really just was.
Through all of it, yeah.
That's kind of the stuff, that gets unsexy as you get older that you really want in a partner.
Yeah.
It's not that hot. It's not the person that's the most fun and gives the best toasts and is a great dancer and is is really fun. It's kind of like your ride or die because we're all getting older. And that's not that your husband isn't sexy and amazing and fun, because it sounds like we're getting to the story where you guys were out getting wasted before you found out you were going to have a baby. But I just think that's really interesting. And so then you get married and you want to have children, and not being able to have children the natural way was never a conversation. It was something that was in your family. It was not discussed.
No, we tried, but because I basically had most of my cervix removed, there was nothing to hold the baby in. I mean, we went to high-risk doctors and so forth, and those are fun. Those are really, really fun appointments to have. But they basically told me, because you don't have much to carry this baby, because a lot had been removed due to my surgery, that if, say, I'm in Green Bay and I go into early labor, they're like, you're staying in Green Bay for 9 months. What? I can't. Where am I staying?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, they'd even talked. You're well aware of things like this, stitching the baby in and all that. And just for my lifestyle and just for trying to have a healthy baby after everything I had gone through, we were like, this isn't going to work. I mean, and we had tried to get pregnant. We had tried all of that. Yeah. If I get pregnant, I'll make it work. It doesn't matter if I go into early labor, I'll, crush it. But I just couldn't get pregnant.
It's too scary. Well, but also you're saying that the surgery that you had as a result of your cervical cancer, it could have been avoided. And then so when you were having problems having kids, you were thinking back to that surgery and how everything's a domino effect. So had that gone differently.
Yeah.
So you go from a peephole scandal into cancer, into a surgery that you feel was unnecessary that led to infertility.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like that, I read this.
There are some good things, I swear.
No, we're getting there. Sorry, everybody, for this movie, but I didn't write it. But I read your piece in Glamour magazine. I was actually crying in the car because you guys felt so traumatized, and you were saying that, you'd be on the field and running to go take the injections. And so you go through an IVF journey. So can you tell us about that? And I also want to hear how your community in sports was about this foreign topic in this world of men, with you going off doing, injections and things like that, and your husband's not there with you.
Yeah. So I did 9 years of IVF, and a lot of that was just, I still thought at the time, I'm going to power through, I'm going to be able to carry this kid. But I couldn't even get pregnant. And then on top of it, I don't know, did you do IVF, Bethenny?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. I just couldn't produce eggs. So it was, these doctors are like, well, let's do another round. And so I just, for 9 years was like, let's go. Let's pump it out. And gosh, those drugs were fun. No.
Well, how much did that journey cost, that IVF journey?
Yeah, it costs a lot. I think a round costs close to $30,000 each time.
For each year? No,
each round of IVF.
And how many rounds do you have to do?
I did 9.
Oh, 9 total. You did 9 rounds. Yeah. So that's a fortune for most people. So you did 9 rounds. And then how defeated are you? Because during those rounds, you're feeling horrible.
Awful. You're feeling horrible. You're already hormonal because of everything you're pumping in you. And you have to go to your partner and tell them that you just got a phone call that said none of them were viable. None of them worked. I mean, you feel awful. Your body's changing because of the crap you're putting in your body. You are basically convincing yourself it's not going to work. Then you get the call that it doesn't work. Then it's like this. You're trying to psych yourself up. Okay, you know what? This time they're going to get the drugs right. My body's going to, it's a mess. It's crazy.
You get like this false hope, and then you get crashed down lower, and then you have to get excited again. I've heard this. And
I'm a real good time to date, apparently
your dating profile. My dating profile said one sentence, only had no information, nothing besides, I only sweat the small stuff. Ooh. Yours could be like, I've got a whole fucking
of things.
Trunk of shit here. Wait, I'm come with a lot of lugage, but who doesn't? So did you feel, I've heard women say that they feel flawed and damaged, like in self-conscious with their partner, like, oh, you could have been with someone who could have given, like, did you go through all that or no?
Oh yeah. You could have been with some young 20-year-old that, is just pumping out kids left and right. You don't have to spend all this money. You don't have to wait 10 days to get the results and it's bad news. Oh yeah. Oh, all of it. You got like I said, one of our lowest points, I think it was like our third round that we did. And he was trying to, and again, we're not married, we're engaged. This guy doesn't have to, or no, we're not engaged. This guy doesn't have to stick around.
Wow.
And you can't work out, you can't drink, you can't have, any physical activity with your partner, because you can't, no sex,
no drinking,
no drinking. Yeah. And so working out is the only way I get through things. And then you add a cocktail, please God, yes. But you take away all those things from
oh my God.
Wow, what a treat this girl is. So I go to take a walk because that's the only thing you can do. And you got to eat because, you have to stay nourished and you want things to grow, but you don't want to eat because you're like, I can't friggin' work out. I feel like crap. Right. And he makes me a smoothie and I was like, just don't put peanut butter in it. Like, I just don't put peanut butter in it. We almost break up. I said, do not. And he's like, Erin, I can't do this. Like,
Fuck you for putting peanut butter, you asshole. The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's terrible. He sounds terrible. He should have put that on his dating profile.
Shit.
You know what I mean? Yeah, what a moron. He is so unsupportive. That is weird. You should give him my number. He should come on here and talk about what his place of wounding is.
Oh, God.
All right, so you go through IVF. You look at each other. You're like, we're done doing this. Now, what's next on the menu?
What's next on the menu was we were like, are we going to try? Are we going to, transfer one in me and see if it works and if I can carry it? It was just too much risk because I didn't have much in the bank in terms of embryos. So finally, 2020, Easter, we're all locked down. We're all miserable. We're alone. Normally we go to our friend's house and celebrate with them and their kids. And it was just like, what are we doing? We want a family. Why are we wasting time? So then the search was on to find the right group, to find the right surrogate, to figure out, our family.
And surrogacy was something that you didn't really understand. It just didn't seem like something was ever going to be for you. And you had to kind of like open up the taboo and look at it. Like, what is that even?
In 2020, it was talked about, but it was kind of like, who really knows until you're in the thick of it. Even my best friends that were with me along this whole journey kind of still didn't understand because it's just not really talked about. It's just now, starting to be the thing. And people are saying, hey, I went to this, not because I didn't want to get fat or because I want to miss time with my job, because this is the way we were able to have a baby. And once we got in it, of course, Bethenny, it's never easy. Our first round, we lost 2. You
lost twins.
Yeah.
Like you finally went to a direction that already seemed unknown and edgy for you. And, and now you lose 2. That sounded horrific.
Awful. And of course, I didn't deal with it very well. I was glazed over. My husband was an absolute mess. We also went into it super blind. We thought, listen, this is going to work. Like, how could it not? We have science on our side. We have our doctor. We have this great woman. More times than none, it doesn't work. And
you're saying you went through 9 months. You went through the whole journey. You thought you were having babies, and then she lost the babies towards the end.
Oh, no. She didn't lose the babies towards the end. No. No. But we went into the whole thing with this surrogacy thinking it's going to work. Like, it's going to happen, So, that we were really blind about because we thought we had everything on our side, and it didn't. And a lot more times than none, it doesn't work. So, but it ended up leading us to this path, and look, like it was all worth it. And
So you have a baby.
I have a baby.
You have an actual real baby.
Like real. And you know what? None of you people told all of us hoping to get babies at 6 weeks, they wake up and they are wild. Like what happened to my cute little like newborn that was just like, he woke up and he was like, ah.
What's his name?
Happened? His name is Mac, M-A-C-K.
And are you both helicoptering because you can't believe that you have this real baby after over a decade?
I think I helicoptered more with my golden retriever because he was the firstborn than I am with this one. We're grateful to have awesome help. She's guiding us through this whole thing because I don't know crap. So I feel like I'm in school every single day learning. What's wrong? Or diaper change, burping? What's wrong with you?
Well, the structure is your friend. The naps when the baby's napping is your friend, and sticking to the schedule is really, and that means like, remember when you had a dog and every 4 hours you'd walk your dog, but then sometimes it became 5, but you still were sort of sticking to the 4 with an extra hour, but you had that like guideline. That's how it was for me. And it was great. Like the second that baby's down, you are trying to run to get a manicure or lay down and watch that. You cannot play games. You cannot be online shopping. You cannot time suck. Time is your only friend. And those naps are your only friends. That's the only thing that I really remember.
Yeah,
which it does. Everyone says it goes so quickly, so I won't say something so trite. And
how old were you when you had Brent?
I think I was like 38, 37, 38. I think or maybe I got pregnant then. I was 39. I'm 52. She's 13. So 49. 39. It's really the most beautiful, amazing thing to put your life into, and what a beautiful gift for you both.
Thank you.
And what was the choice to go? So what are people who are having a struggle having children? What's the menu? Like, are we going to do IVF? Are we going to adopt? Are we going to do surrogacy? Like, what's the menu, and why choose X over Y?
In terms of IVF, okay. Well, you know
what I mean? Like you're a person and you're like, we're not, either because of the male or the woman or the two women, we're not having kids naturally. It's not happening. Yeah. So like, then what would you advise the menu to be? Like how to make the choice and what's right for one person versus another, with those options?
I think obviously communication with your partner in terms of, do we want to do this? Listen, I'm not saying my husband didn't want to, but if my husband could have had a baby, obviously I'm the same way. Naturally, he would have. The coolest thing about this whole experience is our surrogate was lovely. And watching my husband, who's from a small farm town in Canada, didn't know much about IVF before he met me or any of those things, went into this journey like, I want a baby, I'll do whatever. And getting close with our surrogate and, being like, this was a great experience, to her leaving the hospital before us because she was in such great shape and we had to do all the tests with the baby, to him shutting the door and hysterically bawling and being like, it's over. We're never going to see her again. And like, she's given us he was a sobbing, emotional wreck, and like all the best ways. And this is an alpha performer, professional athlete. Like, he was feeling all the feels, Bethenny, and it was one of the coolest experiences ever. So I think the biggest thing is having that communication with your partner that, hey, we can't do it this way. We need help. So when you get help, go to the meetings together, go and get the information together. My husband was there every step of the way on the meetings with the surrogates, talking to the group that put us with the surrogate. Like, he was on every email because he wanted to be a part of it. And I also think it was so important for him to feel all the feels,
Yes.
You're pregnant. He couldn't be a part of that whole thing. So this is how he was doing it. I mean, there's a moment that they talk about after you deliver that psychologists say, for closure, it is great to give the baby to the surrogate after you've had him or her and give them a moment to say goodbye. I mean, they've carried this baby.
Of course.
9 months. Yeah. And my husband was like, yeah. Like, when does that happen? And I was like, I don't know. We'll just follow along. We'll like ask the nurses to help us. And She has this baby. They're tending to her. We're loving on him. All of a sudden, he takes his baby and he's like, here, here. And he's snapping pictures. And it's one of his favorite pictures to show everybody. He goes, this is our girl seeing him for the first time. I mean, my husband was so involved and so into it. It couldn't have gone any better.
So it was like a beautiful life experience, an evolution of a person who grew up on a farm that would not ever touch this kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And it sounded to me like when you said that he bawled, it was because he was fully invested. He was like tight and holding on like you were during that whole trial. And then you like collapsed after. Like he, was like, and you're holding it all. You're like white knuckling through a whole thing. And then like that was the release. It's really wonderful. Yeah. And so obviously there are all these rules. So surrogates people don't hear from them again. They're not in lives. It's done.
We've stayed in touch with ours. Her birthday is this week, and I'm trying to, what do you give somebody that's carried your baby? We had such a wonderful relationship with ours and her family. And then, her kids came to the hospital after, and we brought the baby in for the kids to meet him and stuff because they took care of him too. They were there. And
wow.
It was pretty incredible. Yep. We stay in touch with our girl. We love her.
And you think you will? Like, I feel like that was on This Is Us also. You will, like, in the future, like, the surrogate can meet the child, or that's too weird? Like, what are the rules and psychologists?
I would do it. I think if, and the cool thing is they leave that open for us as parents and the surrogate and so forth, and I would do it. She's such a special individual. She's so caring. I mean, she has 2 kids that she's adopted on her own. She's a full-blown angel.
And so you're an advocate now for this. You're kind of really talking about it, spreading information and leaning in.
The whole thing going through it, and you mentioned the bills of IVF, and that's not even the bills of surrogacy. Every time we would get a bill, listen, we weren't being like, oh my God, this is just so expensive. I kept thinking, Jesus, how do people pay for this that aren't a professional athlete or a sports player? You know what I mean? Like real life people. And it's just... I just kept saying to the woman who, set us up with our surrogate, who has this incredible company, this is bullshit. Like, how do people do this? For LGBTQ community, for, people that have suffered from cancer and mortgaged their future because they're going through treatment and then are trying to have a baby on top of it. Right. So we've aligned ourselves with this group called Baby Quest, who actually, my girl who has the surrogate company goes to a lot, and they help give grants to people who are in need, whether it's IVF, whether it's to help them with surrogacy and so forth, because the insurance, let alone the money, let alone it's insane what they're charging people. They rake you over the coals, and
that's a whole other thing that most people don't think about. Right.
It is. And I just think that surrogacy has been looked at as kind of like a luxury, that people are doing it because, it fits in with their schedule. They don't want to look, they don't want to get fat, or they don't want their body to change. And it's not. A lot of people are using it because this is the way they can have a baby. And it's so freaking expensive. And I want to make a change here and start talking about it,
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're in some ways a private person, but you're leaning into something because you didn't realize this whole space existed. Totally. Wow. So I see the clothing behind you.
Oh, sure.
How is your business doing?
It's good, but all I want to talk to you about is Skinnygirl. And I want, some of the best days are when old episodes are on and you're at the grocery store and you're begging people to try your stuff. And Bethenny, I'm not obviously as accomplished as you are and sitting where you are. You are goals. That's what I want to do. Biggest thing you learn from doing that company. Like, if you could give somebody like me, and I would attend a seminar about, trying to become an entrepreneur, what are some of the things that you learned that I'm going through right now?
Well, behind you, is that a licensing deal, or you own that?
So it's mine. I own it. But of course, to have, we have some of the licenses. We go through some of the licenses for fanatics. That's where sports is a little tricky because then you get it. You have to have a manufacturer, distributor, all the things. But yes, we own it.
But I'm saying you own 100% of that company? Who's we?
Yes. I own 100% of the company. But then when you sell, NFL, they get a percentage. And then your marketing.
But they have the license. You own it. They license it.
Right. I do have some of the licenses for some of the sports. NFL, I do not. But you know what I'm saying? So if I sell their clothes, like if
you have to give them a royalty, you're paying them a royalty. That's what I'm saying. They're like the licensee. You're paying them the royalty.
Yes.
But this is great, because that's the one piece of advice I was going to give, is that all these people, I was just talking about this earlier on Housewives, where everybody thinks they have businesses because they're selling handbags and clothes and hair and all this other shit. It's a licensing deal, and they're not making real money. The reason that Skinnygirl was such a juggernaut was, yes, because I pushed it through, because I am relentless, because I'm organized, because all business is case law, and you have to look at all the other cases before that other people have done and that you've done, and you have to know the temperature of the tides. But that was the one business that I knew was my ace in the hole. I had a feeling about it. So when asked, did I want to do licensing or equity, I did not know what either of those words even meant, but I asked for the definition of them, and I said, no, this one, I want skin in the game. I need to own this one. I don't want to do a licensing deal. And I've done licensing deals for a bunch of other things that I make a lot of money off of. But my shapewear, my salad dressing, my coffee, they weren't my ace in the hole. They were great ideas. They're great products, but it wasn't like, I'm going to start something that's going to, I've invented the skinny margarita, the first person ever in history to do this, then invent a category. So for that, I wanted to hold on to it. So you kind of have to know what things to hold on to, when to hold them and when to fold them. Everything's not a good idea. Everything's not your baby, and you got to let go of things and hold on to things, and you got to know what's what and what's not.
How much of that world was dominated by men? Because mine is.
I've decided that I didn't think about it. I didn't know it. I'd walked into the first time I walked into a liquor store to do a signing, I was like, holy shit, what was I thinking? Why did I go into this? I hadn't succeeded yet. I was like, I would never have gone into this if I knew it was so competitive. But every person I dealt with was a man. And before Skinnygirl, no one had ever marketed alcohol to women. So women weren't drinking tequila before Skinnygirl, clear tequila, all that drink. The skinny margarita changed the entire industry for celebrities jumping into alcohol, for low calorie, for those ready to drink cans. I cracked through, but I did not think about it as a man's business because I didn't even know to think about it. So I'm like an ignorance is bliss type of person. I just plow through and be better than the men, not unlike yourself. So yes, it's a men's business, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't think about it being a man's business until I had to sit in these meetings and try to convince men that women needed an option in team apparel. I was like, listen to me. There's a massive white space. And I said, if you want the pink and bedazzled, sure, it's there, but that's not me.
Right.
I'm a boy. Like I need like my base items. I need those items. And I also the fashion needs to evolve every single year like it does for real life clothing. And, yeah, it's been really, really interesting. You are, like I said, goals, not to fangirl, but I remember the old townhome you had that was like the Skinnygirl headquarters. I bought a house because of you. I bought a house and this is our headquarters. Like I wanted the brick wall that you had in the back and all like the fun things when you would show up. Like, I mean, we have concrete and stuff like that, but this was because of you.
You wanted a space. Yeah. The thing I would say about those, I think what I do with everything is I show them before they believe it. So talk is cheap. Like I said that I knew that I had this guest and I knew it was going to break the internet, and no one's listening to me. No one around me is listening. Thank you. No one is listening to me around me. No, some people care about it, but other people are like, she's not going to be smart. Some people are like, it's not going to rate on YouTube. No one's going to care about, and I just do my own thing. Like, I'm like, we're doing this. Yeah. We're leaning all into this. I know. Or anything. And then the numbers don't lie. So you have to find the right people to be wearing it, to be influencing it, to be pushing it through. And then the numbers you have the numbers. That's why I got paid $7,250 for Housewives. Don't worry. Put me in, coach. You put me in. I'm going to get the numbers later. So I never worry about the money. The money always comes. And every billionaire mogul that I've had on Just Be that has been really successful has said that they've never been motivated by the money. The money comes because of the passion and the drive. So don't worry about the conference rooms and the men understanding. You'll show them the numbers. They understand numbers. The men understand the numbers. So get the numbers to happen and then show them the numbers, and then it will follow, it will be a circular reference.
Yeah. God, I love it. You're amazing.
Awesome.
I just want to drink with you. How many people say that? You and Oprah were always the people I'm like, I just want to drink with them.
I will love that you said. People say it on the street, but not enough people say it. But thank you. I think a lot. Yeah, and people say I want to be your best friend and things like that. And but I appreciate it. I love it. I wouldn't have thought that you would ever say that to me. I am so insular that I don't even know that there are some people that like me.
No, I'm obsessed. All of
Well,
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, you're amazing. And I'm so glad that we did this because it made me really read about you. And I'm really happy that you're, knock wood, on the other side of all of this and that you get to just live and enjoy. So now you get to focus on your baby behind you, which is the business, and your real baby, and watch it fly.
One talks back and spits. Oh, he doesn't talk back yet, but he will. He spits up. And then this one, I just, I want to spit up all over men. Here, take this. Come on.
Yes.
Wait, Bethenny, I want to know what's next for you. Like, it's just, you are so fascinating.
I have to say that, like, I plan nothing. I mean, Jill will tell you, I plan nothing. I want to do nothing. That's what's ironic. I just can't help myself because I think of things and then I get everybody on board and make everybody have to execute it, or I'm screwing around with makeup videos that everyone thinks I'm doing a lot. Yeah, but it's for naught. There's no goal. I have no goal in television. I have no goal in anything. I just do. And then everybody's trying to figure out, like, oh, she's starting a beauty line, or oh, she's doing this reality reckoning because she's starting a network. I'm not doing anything. I'm just screwing around, but it's time consuming screwing around. So I have no goals and no plans. I have a new line called Forever Young, which is amazing, Rosé. You'll love it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And then I have my mocktails, mingled mocktails, which are outrageous. But if you're breastfeeding, we should send you some. They're amazing. Are you breastfeeding?
God, I didn't have the baby.
Oh,
no.
So, right. Oh my God, that's how much I think it's your baby. That's
okay.
So funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I can't believe I said that.
Thing you're doing
forgot.
Is incredible. It's like my must see. Like, I don't care what I'm doing. I could be sitting with a college coach. I could be sitting with an NFL coach, and I'm like, hold on. Because I want to see if the shit I'm spending money on is worth it and what the drop is.
It's not. Today I just did another video because I stopped. I can't believe I just told you to drink mingle because you forever breastfeeding when we just spent an hour talking about that's so crazy.
Maybe you just had a glass of your rosé. Who knows?
No, I'm just thinking you have a baby and I'm thinking you're with the baby, so you just had a baby, so you can't drink. I literally was thinking, is she pumping? That's so funny. So I'm not as smart as I appear to be, so I'll send you both because you can mix the mocktails with alcohol. Well, it was so amazing to talk to you. Have a wonderful day and good luck with your baby and your business and your husband, and I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, and enough of the stories, Erin, because we get it. You've been through shit. No, I know. I'm not trying.
No, it's not enough. It's really, no one knows. Most people don't know about all this stuff because I didn't know. So I'm really happy I read about you.
No, thanks. Yeah, your stuff on Instagram is amazing. I love it so much. You make me want to try all these bagels and shit that I never even thought about before. I'm like, oh my God, I want to try this.
Whipped cottage cheese.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to do some more today because I stop and then I get inspired. Like, I'm inspired today to do some beauty ones because I got full. It was too much crap and too much stuff, and I think it's all bullshit. So not until something jumps off the page am I now posting about it. That's why.
Like, full disclosure, are you literally going to drugstores and picking out shit, or are people just sending you that?
It started out with me just doing it, and then I was like, oh my God, Maybelline sent us lip gloss. And so be careful what you wish for. Wow. And now I have to make a rule to not go to the drugstore. And Paul's like, you'll get millions of views if you just walk into the drugstore. I'm like, I just can't have another thing in this house. I have to. So every day I spend an hour of my day getting rid of stuff. I don't want it. But I want to try it. Because it's here. So the person who owns that brand sent it to me. So I want to try it, but then I want to get the hell out of my house. So it's like there's always a giveaway bin. There's always a shipping box. It's a whole circular thing. So not as much. But if I'm to like take some of it, I'm sure she does. Oh yeah, she does. But I want to preserve her skin, and I want to preserve her, believing in the BS. So she gets stuff, but it's a treat. It's not like every day she's getting stuff because I'm very careful with her about not being spoiled.
That's good. So, yeah, awesome. You're a dream.
Amazing. Thank you. We'll talk again soon. Bye.
Thanks, Bethenny.
Thanks. Well, I was really moved by Erin's story. I read about it this morning, and I was honestly just moved by what people go through. I mean, we all think about our own thing and something terrible happens to us. And then, if you're a public person, it seems bigger when it's not bigger than someone who's not public going through something like a miscarriage or cancer or a bad divorce or anything. And I was just moved by the back-to-back and that she's strong and that she was still going out on the field and what choice do you have? And I'm just can't believe the strength of a strong woman. Like, honestly, cervical cancer after a 7-year peephole violation scandal into 10 years of trying to have a baby, 10 years of trying to have a baby. So through IVF and then surrogacy, I mean, God, give the woman the baby, man. Give her the damn baby. So she has the baby, and I'm so happy. She doesn't have cancer. She got awarded a settlement, and she has the baby. So I feel like I could sleep tonight. Great interview. Great woman. Excited. Buy her products, buy her sportswear, because she deserves it.